This video is about the difference between IP address and MAC address. A MAC address is also known as Medium Access Control Address. This is address that is burned into the physical card, the physical network adapter, to help identify the network adapter. Let's now have a look at a MAC address and see what it looks like. MAC addresses are always presented in hex format, just as our example here. The reason why we don't use binary format, because it's simply too long and too difficult to understand. To avoid one MAC address from one vendor clashing with another MAC address from another vendor, the IEEE group split MAC address in half and use the first half to identify the vendor, and the second half is for the vendor to allocate the serial numbers. The reason why we have to have MAC address is because we are dealing with the various layers of a communication models known as OSI model, TCP, IP, that stuff. Down at layer 2, which is data link layer, we have to be able to have a network adapter communicate with another network adapter. The way it does that is a swap MAC address. There are two ways to find MAC address of your Ethernet or wireless network card. Here's how I did on my Mac computer. The first way is using system preferences. Step 1 is selecting system preference from the Apple menu here. Click the Network from System Preferences menu and choose the Advanced button. You will see the MAC address of your wireless card here. The second way is using terminal. First, launch terminal from application. Then just type ifconfig into the terminal window and press the return key. You will be able to see all the data of your interface on system with just wireless connection.
IP address works like your mail address. Everybody has its unique mailing address. This is my mailing address, Wenting Zhao, 44 Kent Way. And this is my IP address. We can divide IP address into two parts. The first part is called subnet. The second part is called host ID. The street address 44 Kent Way is equal to subnet. The name Wenting Zhao is equal to host ID. If we move to another house, our mailing address will change. IP address is changeable as well. If we change the devices to another subnet, the IP address will change. MAC address work like Social Security number. Everybody have their unique Social Security number. Every device have their unique MAC address, which is physically built into the machine. Social Security number will never change no matter where you are. If you move to another house, your mailing address will change, but your Social Security number will stay the same. Let's change house to routers and change person to devices. If a device moves from one subnet to another, their IP address will change, but the MAC address will stay the same. Now let's talk about how to find MAC address by using IP address. We use mailing address and SSN to describe this. Assuming A wants to find out the social security number of each person and match the mailing address with social security number and the exact person. So A hand out everyone the same email, which is called broadcast, and said, "Who has the mailing address? 文廷照 44 Kentway." B has the same address, so he replied with a message of his mailing address and social security number. Then A writes down the information about B on a table. With the same method, A gets information of C as well. Let's change A to router and BCD to devices. IP address is the same as mailing address, and MAC address is the same as social security number. The router broadcasts the message by setting destination MAC address as broadcast MAC address and create an ARP table which contains the matching of IP address and MAC address. Thank you for watching.